Welcome to Elected. I'm your host, Luke Radel, and yes, I understand the irony of making a video about not showing up on a channel where I haven't published a video in several months. But I'm back. Let's get to the news. We are less than 2 weeks away from the first GOP presidential primary debate, and yet we still don't know if the most interesting candidate in the race is even going to show up. I'm, of course, talking about North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum.
Is there one thing President Biden has done that you think has been a good thing?
Well, I'm struggling.
Luckily for all of us, I was just kidding, and Governor Burgum, with his mountain of charisma, will be on that debate stage on the 23rd, alongside this lineup of also qualifieds. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, former Vice President Mike Pence, entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, and former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. But the one question mark outstanding is, of course, the GOP frontrunner and former President of the United States, the thrice indicted Donald Trump. So today I'm going to give the top 5 reasons why I believe Donald Trump won't show up to this first primary debate on the 23rd of August. And as a disclaimer, I don't know what Donald Trump's going to do. I'd never underestimate his ability to do something stupid or self-destructive. Just take a look at the indictments. It's very possible that he will show up to debate on August 23rd simply because he can't avoid the spotlight. But I don't think it'd be smart for him to do so, and I think the reasons why will be very clear in a moment. Number 5, a paper-thin pledge. This being the lowest entry on our top 5 list is likely dismaying to one person in particular, Ronna McDaniel. She's the chair of the Republican National Committee and has pushed hard for candidates to sign the Beat Biden Pledge as a precondition for stepping onto the debate stage.
I think it's kind of a no-brainer, right? If you're going to be on the Republican National Committee debate stage, asking voters to support you, you should say, I'm going to support the voters and who they choose as the nominee.
The pledge stipulates that all candidates on the debate stage will support the eventual Republican nominee and promise not to run as an independent third-party candidate. For his part, Donald Trump has said that he won't sign the pledge because he doesn't believe he can endorse certain candidates in the Republican primary field.
So they want you to sign a pledge, but I can name 3 or 4 people that I wouldn't support for president. So right there's a problem, okay? Right there's a problem. But I don't have to use that.
Right now,
no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do
three?
that. There's no reason to insult him.
But there are ways to get around it. It is, after all, just a slip of paper, which Trump actually signed in 2016 to get on the RNC debate stage then, and then said this on the debate stage.
Is there anyone on stage, and can I see hands, who is unwilling tonight to pledge your support to the eventual nominee of the Republican Party and pledge to not run an independent campaign against that person? Again, we're looking for you to raise your hand now. Raise your hand now if you won't make that pledge tonight. Mr. Trump. So you can't say tonight that you can make that pledge.
I cannot say. I have to respect the person that if it's not me, the person that wins. If I do win and I'm leading by quite a bit, that's what I want to do. I can totally make that pledge. If I'm the nominee, I will pledge I will not run as an independent.
One of Trump's rivals and fiercest critics, Chris Christie, who we'll talk about more a little later on, said this about the debate pledge.
So I'll take the pledge in 2024 just as seriously as Donald Trump took the pledge in 2016.
So yes, this pledge is certainly a factor in the decision-making, but I don't know how much it'll actually do to keep candidates off the stage, Trump or otherwise. Number 4, Fox News Alert. This year's first presidential primary debate will be hosted on Fox News, a network that President Donald Trump has had a complicated relationship with in the past. In recent months, Trump has attacked Fox for failing ratings, for not covering his speeches live, and for promoting, quote, Ron DeSanctimonious. But Trump has also had problems with many of Fox News' debate moderators. In 2016, he clashed with Megyn Kelly on the debate stage and ultimately ended up skipping one of the primary debates right before the Iowa caucuses.
I'm a maniac, and everyone on this stage is stupid, fat, and ugly. And Ben, you're a terrible surgeon. Now that we've gotten the Donald Trump portion out of the way,
During the first general election debate of 2020, Trump sparred with another Fox News moderator.
I'm Chris Wallace of Fox News, and I welcome you to the first of the 2020 presidential debates. You have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an opportunity.
I got rid of the individual mandate, which was a big chunk of
Obamacare.
That is absolutely a big thing. That was the worst part of Obamacare.
Sir,
Chris, that was the worst part of Obama.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe. The individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare. I got rid of it.
I'd like you
and we will protect people with
President, I'm the moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer.
Go ahead. I guess I'm debating you, not him.
And sure, both Wallace and Kelly have now left the network, but there is one more anchor from that trio that has managed to get underneath Trump's skin.
That's cheating on the election.
You lost the 2020 election.
Brett, you take a look at all of the stuffed ballots. You take a look at all of the things, including things like the 51 intelligence agents.
There were recounts in all of the swing states. There was not significant widespread
We're trying to get recounts, real recounts, not just numbers of votes
widespread
cast.
corruption. There was not a sense of that. There were lawsuits, more than 50 of them by your lawyers, some in front of judges that you appointed.
Look at Wisconsin.
That came out with no evidence.
So yeah, Trump actually mentioned his, quote, unfriendly interview with Bear and his overall relationship with the network as a reason why he might skip.
You have a hostile network like Fox. Like when I did the interview with Brett, I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay, but there was nothing friendly about it. You know, it was nasty. People said, why would you do it? Because it was really, you know, everything was like and unfriendly. It was always, everything was unfriendly. No smiling, no let's have fun, let's make America great again. Everything was like a hit.
So I'm sure Bear can be expected to bring his lack of smiles and, you know, real questions to the debate as co-moderator on the 23rd, which is yet another reason why Trump might stay home. Number 3, the Christie factor. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is not going to be the Republican nominee for president in the year 2024, and he knows that. He's a fairly smart guy. The reason why he's running for president is not to win any of the primary contests, but to be a lone, loud, and direct voice on the GOP debate stage, speaking out against Donald Trump in a way that very few other candidates will.
Maybe kind of in a sideways looking way. They say something negative about Trump that people will get it, and then they'll go to them. Look, there's one lane to the Republican nomination, in my opinion. And Donald Trump's at the head of that lane. And if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man.
But Christie's entire theory of the case relies on Trump actually showing up at the debate stage, which is why you've seen him egging Trump on in recent interviews.
You think Donald Trump's going to be there?
You know, George, I do. I do think he'll be there. Yeah, I think he'll be there because, look, I've known him for a long time, as you know. His ego, I think, will not permit him to have a big TV show that he's not on. And I think he'd be enormously frustrated sitting back at Bedminster and watching what I'm going to do to him on that stage.
Sounds like you're baiting him to come in.
No, look, I mean, I don't think I have to, but I'm happy to say right now, come on, Donald, get on the stage and defend your record.
Now, while I think that Governor Christie is likely to be the most direct and forceful with his attacks on Trump, I don't know if they'll resonate quite as much as attacks from the right from folks like Governor Ron DeSantis, who has previewed some of what he might attack Trump on during the debate.
He didn't have control over his own government. He didn't have control over Fauci. Fauci ran that government his last year in office. Trump should have fired him. He did not do that. He elevated Fauci, and he made Fauci an international celebrity.
At the end of the day, if Trump stays home, he can avoid any direct attacks from any of the candidates, and the kind of viral moment we saw in June of 2019 during the first Democratic primary debate between Joe Biden and his now Vice President, Kamala Harris.
And that little girl was me.
This moment was disastrous for the Biden campaign, which up until this point had enjoyed a comfortable lead atop a crowded Democratic field, much like President Trump on the Republican side this time around. But the reason why this isn't at the top of the list is because, well, Joe Biden went on to win the nomination and eventually the presidency. He was able to recover from a rocky start in a debate moment, and I think Donald Trump has even more odds of resiliency in such a moment because he has such a strong and fervent base supporting him. I mean, they haven't abandoned him through 3, potentially 4 indictments. Do you really think it's going to happen because of one bad debate soundbite? Number 2, self-destruct mode. Yes, we're back to talking about that first presidential debate in 2020, but I will spare you having to listen to any more of it again, mainly because I'm scared that you'll, click off the video. But as Jake Tapper summed it up on debate night,
that was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
So yeah, that first debate performance did not leave much confidence in the minds of the American people about the competence or even sanity of the then commander-in-chief. And just a reminder that all of that happened 3 years ago when Trump was a much younger man at 74, and before he deluded himself into believing that he won the 2020 presidential election. Commentators have noted that in recent appearances, Trump looks tired and worn out by 8 years on the trail. And so it leads many to ask, has Trump lost a step from his fiery and combative debate performances during the 2016 race?
Real tough. You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see, I'm at 42 and you're at 3, so
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This doesn't do...
Beyond just potential fears of poor performance, another compelling reason for Trump to stay home and an additional wrinkle in this unprecedented campaign cycle would be that Trump needs to avoid saying things that could potentially incriminate him during many of his ongoing criminal trials. If Trump were to show up, he'd likely face questions on the January 6th Capitol riot, the 2020 election interference plot, and his mishandling of classified documents, all subjects for which Trump is currently facing criminal charges. Number 1. Tired of winning. The most compelling reason for Trump to skip this first presidential primary debate is because he doesn't actually need to go. He's already winning, and winning by a lot according to the polls. According to the Real Clear Politics national polling average, Trump is carrying an outright majority of the Republican Party electorate, with DeSantis being 40 points behind and the only other candidate even in double digits. It simply doesn't make mathematical sense for Trump to show up to a debate, legitimize the other candidates, particularly DeSantis, and potentially risk his runaway lead.
But I'm going to look at it very seriously. I'd like to do it. I've actually gotten very good marks on debating talents, but you want to be, they want a smart president. They want somebody that's going to be smart. So we have to do the smart thing.
Oh, wait. Yeah, this would rely on Donald Trump doing the smart thing, huh? All right. See you in Milwaukee, Donald. Thanks for watching. Elected.